Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance ANZ podcast. So, this is where we share real stories and insights to help you understand more about metabolic balance and what it can do. I am Cherry Wills and I'm your host today. And I am delighted to share that I'm joined today by a client of Katrina Harrington. She's called Kim Alsdorf. Hello, Kim. How are you?
Hi, very well, thank you.
I am so delighted to welcome you today, and I can't wait to hear your story.
Awesome, great. I'm happy to share.
So, would you like to maybe share, what led you to find metabolic balance, to know about it?
Okay, I've struggled with my weight most of my life. I've
Yeah.
gone, up and down on diets. I remember during COVID, I did quite well, and I lost 18 kilos, and I felt
Wow.
really
Yep.
good. And then what went bad? I think we were doing a knockdown rebuild at the time, and we moved into rental property, very small, 2-bedroom granny flat. And I put everything back on, and I felt awful. Actually, not only did I put everything back on, I put more on. So I just felt awful. I had previously met my coach, Katrina. Our daughters play netball together, and I was chatting with her. And my biggest issue is I'm a bit of a fussy eater. So, I know what I like and what works. But I know I'd got to the point where nothing was really moving. I just couldn't get motivated to get back onto the train. I know I could lose weight.
Yeah.
Nothing was fitting, everything I'd bought. So
Yeah.
I thought I needed to do something. So that's I engaged. Sorry, go on. I engaged with Katrina. So
I am just sort of intrigued. Was it just the weight loss? Because what was it about why you wanted to release the
I knew
weight?
I needed to lose about 40 kilos. So primarily it was the weight loss, but I think everything that comes with the weight loss is all
Yeah.
joined together. So obviously
Yeah.
clothes, being able to just go to the shops and be able to fit something on, or even having stuff in your wardrobe you spent money on and
Mm-hmm.
you just can't get into it.
Mm.
And I didn't want to spend more money. So obviously the clothes, the weight loss, simple things like getting out there, walking, being able to do more things with my girls. I have a 14 and a 12-year-old.
Mm.
Um, Not feeling so self-conscious in things like, plane seats or on the train, or, being able to sit next to
Mm.
somebody.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
just being able to feel healthier, not sitting on the couch and having not chest pains, that's
Mm.
not really what I wanted, but just feeling just really horrible because I've eaten too much and I shouldn't have eaten too
Mm.
much. So
Yeah.
yeah, so weight
Yeah.
loss was the key, but I think it's all combined. I don't think you do weight loss on your own. You do weight loss to feel better with a lot of things.
And that well, that's exactly how I see things. Yeah, just from my experience working with people. If something is purely about weight loss, it's just a diet for a short period of time, and it was nothing really. There's not really the key benefits for
No,
long
it's
term
got to be a
health.
change that you can keep. I also do suffer from rosacea.
Okay.
And my face, that was probably the other thing as well. My face was just awful. Like, it's a sort of like not only the redness, but it's an adult acne. And
Okay.
my face was playing up like no tomorrow. So I think
Okay.
having lost some of the weight, that has vastly improved as well,
Yeah. Okay.
along those
Yeah.
lines. So
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about how you found things, because you said you're a fussy eater.
I am a
So
fussy eater.
how did it work?
It wasn't too bad when I first commenced. So I started in January this year. I think it was January the 13th, if I remember correctly. It was on a weekend.
Hmm.
I went through Christmas. You'd be mad to start at Christmas time, but I waited till I was in the new year. And I did very, very well. I was very strict. I don't like the word strict. committed, I think is a better word, committed. So
Yeah.
I like to cook. I like to cook. I'm a bit of a sweet tooth. That's probably my downfall, a bit of a sweet tooth. But I still continue to cook for the family and also take things to work for meetings. But I was very, very committed, and I didn't, change. Like I didn't in between meals, the 5 hour meals and those kind of things. I stuck totally stuck to that. So I think the thing that kept me going is I could see the weight loss coming
Mhm.
down on the scales. I like the scales have a good and a bad thing to you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes if you're
Yeah.
losing it, you feel very good. But sometimes if you have a bad day and you still lose something, you go, oh, that wasn't too bad. I can sort of continue on that because it will catch up to you. Or if you don't, if you've done
Yeah.
really, really well and things haven't gone particularly well on the scales, you can feel a bit deflated. So I'm very, I think scales can be good and bad, which I speak, I talk about that with Katrina about working through. So, no,
Yeah.
look, I'll be honest. There's lots of things on my list of foods I don't particularly like, but I did get on board with the Facebook group with ideas of things that could work.
Yeah.
And I tried some of those, so I've definitely tried a few new things. But I think that's one of the things. Even if you're not a, there was a lot of things I didn't tick off on the plan that I went through with Katrina in terms of. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like. I didn't tick on soy. I don't.
Okay.
I'm just like not there. I don't. I'm not a big seafood eater. I have got a few pieces of fish back in my diet now that I've lost. I'm up to about 22 kilos at the moment.
Yeah.
But there's
Okay.
yeah, there's things like salmon and tuna. Sorry, there's people might look at me and go, oh, but they're not my cup of tea. But I think you can
Yeah.
manage it. Yeah, it's just about looking at it,
Mhm.
planning.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you find that you did find, I mean, like you said, you're a fussy eater. So did you find any foods that you realized actually I would never have thought I like that, but I actually do?
Um, No, I wouldn't go that far. But oh, actually, no, sorry, no, totally, 100% oats. So I have never eaten
Ah,
oat. Like obviously, everyone I've maybe cooked with oats. I mean, everyone said Anzac biscuits, yum.
yeah.
But oats on its own. Never in a million years would I've had stuff like the oats and the porridge, and they're my go-to for breakfast now. So that's a favourite. I soak my portion of oats with milk overnight, and then I heat that up in the microwave with some apple. Like I use stewed apples that I've pre-cooked. My portion of that, love it, and keeps me going till lunchtime. My other favourite is my oat pancakes. Really easy to make and really yummy. Again, keeps me going. So yeah, I would definitely oats. Something I would never thought
Awesome.
of. They're great.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
And so the changes that you were feeling, they were, they kept you going, they kept you motivated, I'm assuming as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always very good to have, you've got to have something to aim for, and it might not always be the scale. So, this is when I was talking about the scales, because obviously, things change sizing. So, it's good to have like a piece of clothing, whether or not it's
Mm,
something you've bought and can't fit into. And that's a good way to keep you going because it's like you might not see
mm,
it on the scales, but you see it in your clothing. So I still have it now because I've still got more to go. So I get something that I'm close to. It's like, oh, can't quite do the button up, but that's my next challenge.
that's amazing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and how do you feel about the long-term future of this?
Oh, look, fine. Like I lost probably got to 18 kilos. May was a bit. I had a few my birthday, a few things happening in May. So look, I did plateau a bit, and we worked through that. But what I like to know is when I did plateau, I didn't put weight back on. So I might have had some bad
Hmm.
times, and I had just busy social occasions around there. I didn't put weight back on. So from a long term
Hmm.
point of view, yeah, I'm not going to go back to my old ways. I've got the basis there of how to work. Those 5 hour gaps. My water. The one thing I probably haven't changed in this whole time is my water intake. So I find that easy to achieve
Hmm.
now. Yeah, portion control, and looking for better options when you're out being social, or if you like lunch. Well, I try not to be overly social. I still have weight to lose. That doesn't necessarily work for me, but it's just about finding the options and better choices. So, yep, I don't
Yeah.
perceive that as a problem.
Do you, I mean, like now that the awareness is there, then are you seeing the choices in front of you that maybe you never saw before?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As I said,
Hmm.
planning's a good thing. So if you are going to go out, try and have an idea of what maybe is on the menu before you go out. I plan in the week. I've always planned meals. Like, I work full time. I've got my two girls, husband. So I'm always planning meals, so I know what I'm ahead, and I just plan mine around the same time. So occasionally we can plan the same food. I'll just have a portion of that'll work.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's just about making choices. So when you go to the shops, being able to choose the things that you're able to have and having them on hand, so you don't. Yeah, if I haven't soaked my oats, what am I going to have? Oh, that's all right. I've got some yogurt in the fridge, so I can have that as well. Making sure I have
Hmm.
apples in the fruit bowl for me.
Yeah.
The choices, and going back to your coach, if there aren't options there to have. So, yeah, I have
Hmm.
a few issues with my fruit choices that aren't particularly. There's only about one on there I really like. So it's just going back and having options, and talking that through.
Yeah.
Not making my own
Yeah.
choice, but getting some advice on what the best options are.
Yeah. So it's that ability to have that real support behind you as opposed to going it alone. Because is that actually fair to say is what you've done all in the past when it's always been, yeah,
Um,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
no, I
all.
did. Probably it must have been about 20 years ago. I did something similar to metabolic balance. It wasn't. It was the same sort of principle with the 5-hour gaps.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't quite personalized. So it's still blood tests and looking at things, but it was just a
Mm-hmm.
generic list, so you could pick and choose whatever you want. So it wasn't personalized.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and that sort of worked. So that's why I felt a bit more confident doing this one. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, having that support definitely helps, because especially when you plateau or you stop for a while, that's really hard. And trying to get that, I don't even know if the word
Mm.
motivation is the right one, but trying to get back into it, and then yeah, working through with your coach, and having that, talking through about options on how you can get back on track. It's probably more the word.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, how do you see your food list now moving forward? Because obviously, we never want you to just stick to your food list forever. We just, it's about change,
Yep.
and then you really can bring in beautiful whole fresh foods exactly as you need to. To maintain things beautifully without having the inflammatory foods. So
No, exactly.
have you noticed or realised anything that is particularly inflammatory for you in this whole period?
Um, Nothing pops out, but then I'm going to be honest, I've been fairly committed to not going too far outside
Mm-hmm.
what's been on
Mm-hmm.
my list. Yeah, no, I haven't really seen anything jump out. But then again, I'll be honest with you, and I have a wide list of food that I sort of like a lot of other people, like a lot more vegetables than I do. I like fruit, so it'd be interesting to see when summer comes around and if I'm able to branch a little bit to some of those stone fruits,
Yeah.
which I do like, but maybe they don't like me. Haven't had
Mm-hmm.
them so far this year, obviously, because I've been sticking to my plan. Um, I did, don't tell Katrina, I had a few cherries the other day. They seemed quite nice because,
I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because I always really want people to know that it's a it's a really adaptable program when you choose to see it in that way. You
yeah,
adapt it to what you need so that you really do, feel your best at all times.
yeah. And I think
Which,
bringing in just maybe one at a time just to see how you go. Like,
Mm.
don't go all out and go, I'm just going to eat all day and snack all day and see how I go off the program. No, I don't think that's it. I
Yeah.
think you have to have
Yeah.
quality, you're quite right, quality, unprocessed, whole foods, breakfast, lunch, and
Mm-hmm.
dinner, and try and incorporate. And if you're going to incorporate something different in there, have it as part of your meal. So if you want to try
Mm-hmm.
sort of a different type of fruit, well, maybe I'll swap that out for my breakfast. And I did, like with my coach's support the other day, I bought some oranges. They just look so nice, and we'll have one. Yeah, like have one. After breakfast, make that your fruit after breakfast. So I did. I had my porridge with my orange, and it was so nice. It was lovely. So they're,
How wonderful.
yeah, they're the things that you
Yeah.
can definitely do. Um, I do like white bread. I'm just one of those people, but I've been very, I slowly, when I get a bit down, I'll just see how that goes. It's probably not going to be. It's that one's my treat meal, because I like to, as I said, I like to cook. So, however, I will say I'm doing a lot with the sourdough, so there's none of that processed yeast or the store bought stuff. It's very whole, and I'm trying to adjust with that as well. But
Yeah. Yeah. It is about finding what's right for you at the end of the day as well. It's about really having that good quality of life in all, in all
absolutely,
areas for me. Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you feel your daughters have responded to what you've been doing for yourself?
Yeah, they're pretty good. If I go off track, it's like, are you allowed to have that, mummy? And it's like, well, yes, I'm living life. So yes, it's probably not on my initial list. But actually, and that's a good example. That's coming back to show them making the better choices for your life. Actually, making
Yeah.
better choices. So um, yeah, no, they're good. They're good. My younger one's a bit honest, like, you see the ads on the telly for certain foods or certain diet things. Oh, you could do that, mummy. So obviously she knew I needed to lose the weight. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to set them up to make better choices, and how better
Yeah.
choices following me.
That was amazing. That's what I
Yep,
would love to hear. And do you feel that they are sort of learning by example more here now, that it's not about dieting your life away
correct.
kind of thing?
Correct.
Yeah.
Probably I've
Yeah.
got my elder one who's like probably 14 and a half. I need to sort of drill that in a bit more to say, make better choices now, because you'll get a point in your life where you're going to stop sort of growing, and you'll start putting, if you start putting the weight on, take stock and look at the choices. My younger one's very good. She eats good quality food, and a lot of
Mm,
a lot of it.
mm,
But yeah, like we eat at home. We're not we we rarely go out. I'm not saying that we
mm.
don't go out as a family or don't get takeaway foods, but there's often 6 7 days a week, definitely six, and often of late 7. It's a home cooked meal every night,
Yeah.
and that we make their
Yeah.
lunch to take to school as well. So it's not,
Yeah.
my girls rarely buy things at the canteen.
Yeah. And it's about uh, showing girls that body positivity, isn't it? That feeling good about
Absolutely.
yourself, feeling good in your
Yeah.
own skin.
Yep.
It's so important for all people, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you shared about your rosacea and your skin. How is
hmm
that now feeling for you?
Oh, a lot better. So I think it's probably a combination of my diet and just having some better skin products for it. But yeah, I definitely noticed a difference. Like before I started, it was awful. It was really horrible. Um,
Mm,
definitely. And so sort of it does link back in. So yeah, the whole I'm not having processed foods or anything high sugary foods either. So
mm,
probably most sugar is
mm-hmm.
my apple a day. So that has to be part of the benefits of eating on the metabolic balance. Um,
Yeah,
program. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't
And
look too
so
bad.
Looks beautiful. So if there is somebody who is kind of thinking, is metabolic balance for me? Should I do this? Is it worth it? What would you say to them?
100%, it's worth it. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to give it a go. It is going to be a change for some people. There's a lot of people out there with different ideas. Some are always about, yeah, like you eat constantly and keep your metabolism going. Alternatively, it's that break to, let your metabolism, your insulin, increase with the 5 hour breaks. And then obviously there's intermittent fasting. So you have to pick, I suppose, what works best. But I'm an example, and I'll say that I've had lots of people ask, and I've definitely passed on my coach's information because it has worked for me. Yeah, and it's still working for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I'm not a gym junkie by any means. I just like I walk. I try and do my 10,000 steps a day. Um, I have learnt 100%. It's 80% of what goes in your mouth. So you can exercise as much as what you like. If you don't change your eating habits, you are not going to lose weight or feel better. So you've got to find a program that works. So
yeah,
100%, this works.
yeah,
I can see it on
yeah.
the scales and what I'm wearing. So
And you feel that this is something as well that you can do moving forward too, because that's the crucial thing for me. I just I
yep,
want to know that you feel good moving forward with it.
yeah, absolutely. And look, in things that
Mm.
don't work for me, I talk through with my coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with people. I miss a cup of tea during that 5 hour break. I drink black tea. I don't have sugar. I always have. So that wasn't something I needed to change, which is really good. But I do miss that. But you know what? We've come to agreement. So on the weekend, I might have an extra cup of tea in the afternoon thing. So, and again, that's something I need to play around with when I get closer to my goal weight and
Yes,
things. That's probably something I'll play around with. Could I squeeze in an extra one in the
definitely.
afternoon?
Yeah, and
Um,
I would say definitely that
yep,
definitely play with that, because that's
yep,
the good stuff about finding your maintenance, your what really works for you. It's all is bringing it properly back to what works for you.
absolutely, yeah. As I said, I'm not in that maintenance mode yet. I've still got weight to lose. But ultimately I feel comfortable when the maintenance stage happens, or when I get to when I feel comfortable with where I am.
Yes.
I'll play around, and I don't mean play around like, oh, I can eat crisps now or hot chips or this, that, and the other. That's not where the mindset goes. Like, don't waste your money if you're just going to do it and then go back to old habits. That's not it. You have to
Hmm.
change your mindset. Um,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. But you want a different future in many ways, isn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely. I
Mm.
like my life. I love my life. It's great. I've got lots of things I want to do. And yeah, so I knew I needed to make the change now. Otherwise I wasn't gonna do it. You can do it at any age, and I do say that if I could say that to my younger self, I would have gone back and, you know, done it then.
Okay.
But that's
Mm.
life.
Yeah. So, what do you think now the future holds for you now that you are in this much more empowered place to look after your health and stay where you want to be?
Yeah, so I think the next 6 months is like sort of the near future, is trying to get by the end of the year down to my goal weight. That's my initial plan. And then after that, I'm just hoping to be able to just live every life, just be a little bit, I suppose, more relaxed, not that rigid
Mm-hmm.
weighing, being able to pick things. Um,
100%.
but yeah, but just being happier about, putting on a pair of jeans that fit, getting out there, yeah, knowing I'm living my best and living my healthiest.
Yeah. Well, I wish you well so wholeheartedly, and I'd love to, if you would like to come back maybe in 6 months' time and share where you're at, and just
Absolutely.
so that
Yeah, no, that'll give me a goal. Happy to, happy to. That's always
yeah,
good to have a um,
yeah,
have a
yeah,
goal.
yeah,
See you just before
because it
Christmas.
is, yeah, because it's about really sharing that it's a journey that we're all on, looking after ourselves all the time. We're always on it. I have to work at it every day myself, and it's just keeping really balanced place of just making nice choices for yourself
Correct.
and seeing what feels good for you.
Yeah, and look, it's not going to happen overnight either. So, and there will be times where it's not going to go as well as what you planned, but don't lose faith. Just take stock, get back onto it, and yeah, it will happen.
Because we live in a world that is so many things around us that we
Yep.
could do that aren't in our best interests at any point in time. And it's just knowing that you balance all of that out.
Correct. And I think one good example of that is, like as I said, I didn't do a lot of social commitments when I first commenced because I didn't think I'd be able to handle it quite well. And that even doing some lunches with my teammates, um, our local pub where we go to lunch, my go-to, I used to love it, chicken schnitzel, bosciola sauce with chips. Lovely. I have not had it this year. I've actually, and I didn't think this was possible because I thought, oh, I can just do that as my cheat meal. I found something else on the menu, a lovely, salad, some
Yeah.
pear walnut salad with some chicken. It's actually so nice. I clean the plate. It's just, I don't do it every week. Like that is definitely a
No.
treat, but
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
very happy I've been able to find an alternative which sort of fits in with the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah. And then really supports your health in the right way, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel good in every aspect around
Yeah.
it.
Correct. Yeah, you don't feel like going out to lunch, then coming back and just having guilt on you. I feel like I went out. It probably wasn't the lunch I'd normally choose, but it is something I
Awesome.
can do. And yep,
Yeah, yeah. We don't want
still
any
happy.
guilt. That
No,
is
no,
no
that's a
that's
no.
that's
That's
no place to be. Yeah,
correct. You
yeah,
need to be
yeah,
happy with what you're doing, happy with what you're
yeah,
eating, not
yeah,
being hungry.
yeah,
And that's what MB does.
yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Kim. I really appreciate you sharing your journey so far with us. And like you say, you're only you're halfway, and but equally you've got hopefully another 30, 40 years of feeling your best self ahead of you too.
No,
Nice
absolutely.
self care. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Really do appreciate that.
No, my pleasure. More than happy. And I'll definitely come back in 6 months.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
with more weight lost.
And if you would like to hear more about what Metabolic Balance could do for you, you can check out how to find your practitioner on our website. All the details are in the show notes, and really happy to answer any questions anybody might have as well. So thank you again to Kim, and we will see you again soon.